Students, the next topic is role of commercial bank. Very important 5-mark question. So in the previous class we saw the functions of commercial bank. The functions of commercial bank classified into 3 types: primary functions, secondary functions. So the next topic is role of commercial bank. The role played by the commercial banks in 7 topics, in 7 ways. That is, first one, capital formation. So the role of commercial bank is very much important for the economic development of nation by way of mobilization of savings. So the savings are converted into capital formation. So the people are having their own savings in their households. The savings are converted into capital. So throughout the country, the savings are scattered over in various states or various scattered areas. So the savings that are available in the hands of people, that should be collected by way of capital formation with the help of the network of branches. So with the help of opening of more number of branches from various districts or various states, they have to mobilize the savings of the people, and the same should be placed for the production purpose. So the savings are mobilized by the banks with the help of various network of branches. Then the capital should be placed for the production purposes. So the people are induced to save their money by way of the attractive schemes of the banks. That means the banks are often introducing or implementing various attractive schemes which are induced to save the money by the people. Then only the savings converted into capital formation and the capital placed for the production purposes. Suppose if the banks not do so, that means no capital formation in the country means, then the savings will remain as ideal in the homes of consumers, public, other people, in the form of gold, jewels, or any other valuable securities, valuable document. That's all. The banks are taking necessary effort to induce the people to save their money, and the same should be converted into capital, and the amount should be placed for the production purposes. So the banks are playing a vital role for the capital formation of the country. Suppose there is no capital formation in any country, there will be no production, there will be no sales, and there will be no economic development. So the amounts started from the savings of the people. Savings converted into capital. Capital should be placed for production. Production increased sales. Then sales increased to the national income of the country. So the attractive schemes are being implemented by the bankers and induce the people to save their money, and the sales should be converted into capital by way of opening of various number of branches. Then second one, creation of credit. So creation of credit is very important. Credit is very important for the purpose of more funds. The more funds needed for the developmental projects. So various number of projects needed more amount of funds. For that there is need of credit creation. Then the credit creation leads to production. Production leads to sales, and thereby increasing the faster economic development. So a country's faster economic development can be take place with the help of increasing of sales. Then the sales increased by way of increasing the level of production. Then the production needed the more amount of funds. If there is more amount of funds, there will be a number of developmental projects. Then development of project leads to production. Then production increased, sales increased, and thereby faster economic development can be take place. So for economic development, there is a need of creation of credit. Why means the funds needed for the developmental project. Then encouraging the right type of industry. Another important role nowadays played by the commercial bank is encouraging the right type of industry. So the bankers are not sanctioning up all type of industries. They are sanctioning up only the right type of industry. Sanctioning of loan only to the right type of industries. Because of the funds are available at scarce. There is no surplus amount of funds in the commercial banks. So they have to select the right type of industries for the sanctioning of loans and advances. So loan to right type of industries, increasing the level of industry, increasing number of industries. That leads to industrialization. Industrialization leads to economic development. So that the loans to industries whose products is demand or more. Before sanctioning of any amount of loan to the industries whose product is required more amount, more demand for the product, then only the industries are getting a loan from the banks. We simply say the bankers are sanctioned the loan for those industries whose product is demand is more. Then more demand increased to production increased. Then increased production, increased sales. Then that will be assist in the increasing of national income. So by way of increasing of production, increasing of sales, then assist in increasing of national income. So a country's income, national income should want to increase means we have to choose the loan only to the right type of industries. Right type of industries get the loan, increasing the industries in numbers, and increasing the industries in numbers mean industrialization. Industrialization take place, economic development. Economic development take place, more production, then assist in the national income. So this is encouraging the right type of industries. Then banking monetize the debt. That means manufacturers can't increase the sales without the credit sales. Each and every producer can't increase the volume of sales without the credit sales. So once the credit sales is permitted, the amount can be get back after a few years. So the capital has been locked. Then capital has been locked means production reduced. Then in such a circumstances, the government bankers lending loan to the industries in the form of discounting of bill of exchange. Then automatically the production can be continued without any interruption. So the production can be continued without any interruption by way of lending of money by the bank in the form of discounting of bill of exchange. I repeat once again, banks monetize debt. So the manufacturers cannot increase the sales unless or otherwise giving of sales on credit basis, selling of goods and services on credit basis. Once the credit sales is allowed, automatically amount of capital locked. The amount will be gained after a few years. Till then, the production has been reduced. Then the lending of money by the bank in the form of discounting of bill of exchange, then automatically the production goes on continued. So without any interruption. Point number 5, finance to the government. So the commercial banks are providing finance to government. How means government needed funds for the sanctioning of loan to the assisting to the underdeveloped country industries. So government needed funds for assisting the industries which are functioning in the underdeveloped country. So the bankers are providing long-term assistance to the industry, to the government by way of purchasing of government securities or investment in government securities. Banks invest their money. The deposits are processed by the bankers. The deposits are placed in the investment in government securities. You understand? So by providing long-term loan. Banks providing long-term loan by way of purchasing of government securities. So while purchasing of security by the banks, the government get the finance. So with the help of finance, they have to assist the industries that are functioning in the underdeveloped countries. That is long-term finance. And the bankers provide short-term finance to the government. Short-term finance means by way of purchase of treasury bill. By way of purchase of treasury bill, providing financial assistance to bank in the short-term loan. So bank providing long-term loan by way of investing in government securities, and purchasing of treasury bill will be the short-term financial assistance to the government. So the banker providing long-term assistance, financial assistance, as well as short-term financial assistance. Long-term financial assistance means by way of investment in government securities. That means purchase of government securities. And purchase of treasury bill is one of the example for short-term finance to the government. Then number 6, employment generation, creation of employment opportunities. How it is possible means after the nationalization of banks, the number of employees and the number of branches nowadays increased by many times. So nationalization of banks taken place in the year 1969. So for the first time in 1969, 14 banks were nationalized. Then after that in 1980s, 6 more banks were nationalized. So at present there are 20 nationalized banks who are functioning in our country. So the nationalization had taken place in 1969. The number of banks was 14, and in 1980, 6 more banks were nationalized. So the number of branches and the number of employees has been increased manifold when we compare with the 1969 and in present days or recent years. So the nationalization of banks taken place and increased the number of branches as well as the number of employees to a great extent. Branches are opening, creation of employment opportunities. So the number of branches and the working of employees in numbers also increased manifold. So the employment generation is another important role of commercial bank. Then promote entrepreneurship. So the important role of commercial bank is development of entrepreneurship. Nowadays, the development of entrepreneurs is an important role played by the commercial bank. The entrepreneurs are induced for well-formulated projects. Induce the entrepreneur for the establishment of well-formulated projects by way of counseling service. Counseling service means technical and managerial guidance. So the bankers are providing technical and managerial guidance to the newly established entrepreneurs, as well as they are providing 100% credit. The bankers are providing 100% credit the project which are worthwhile. The bankers are providing 100% credit the project which are worthwhile. Worthwhile in the sense technically feasible and economically viable project. Technical feasible project and economic viable project. So that only known as worthwhile project. And the commercial banks also helps the development of entrepreneurship in our country, playing a very important role. The development of entrepreneurship by way of inducing the well-developed project or well-formulated projects by way of giving of counseling service. But all the projects which are having technical feasible and economical viable. So which is needed for the technical and managerial guidance. So all the services are provided by the bankers, bank officials. So in such a way, the commercial banks are helpful for the promotion of entrepreneurship. I repeat once again the headlines: capital formation, credit creation, encouraging the right type of industries, monetizing of the bank debt, finance to the government, employment generation, and promotion of entrepreneurship. So these are the very important 7 roles played by the commercial banks.